the most one-eyed podcast.
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game-changing.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeble.
Riddle me that, mate.
Now, riddle me that, Deeble.
Do you remember? It's what we're here to
This is True Blood's number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast in the home studio today to review the very stressful win against West Coast, preview the must-win game against the Dons with a very special guest, Marnie Vinall, and chat everything else Swannies girls. I am joined, as always, by the man who is doing a million things and head is in a million places. It's Alex Donnelly. Alex, how's it going?
Oh, man, we had technical difficulties before the show as well. Everything that's gone wrong could have gone wrong. My laptop isn't working. The keyboard's stuffed. We finally got connected to the iPad, but now it's not charging properly. So, we're in a great spot right now. It's just really what I need coming into Melbourne Cup week. Yeah, it's great. I'm about to have a house to myself for the week, so who knows what kind of state I'm going to be in come Sunday afternoon. And then I've got to get through Melbourne Cup week, and I've got my horse running in Sydney on Tuesday. So I'm flying to Sydney for a day, Paul. So, I'm not going to do the podcast on Tuesday. It's going to be a Monday night record during Melbourne Cup week, so maybe a 7-minute podcast next week. Anyway, what's up?
We might have to call in a special request to the man who did send in a social seg clip this week. But yeah, look, hey, one good thing did happen. Our girls did win. They won. They won the must-win game. We now have another must-win game. Faithful, I'm just going to be very blatantly honest. We are recording this back to front this week. So if we don't touch on something in this segment, just be rest assured we touch on it coming up in the following segments that follow the review. But we came up against West Coast at Henson Park. I was not there because I was at a wedding, and I've made that very, very clear. And everything that Polly loves happened in this game, and she had to miss it, and that doesn't feel fair.
It's a great Alicia Keys song. It's called Karma. That's what you get. You knew that this was going to be on, and your friends and their stupid love and their love story, just, things have got to take precedence, Paul. And, I put the dub over racing. I was watching this game on the TV with Cox Plate Day on my iPad. So that shows you where my preferences were on the weekend.
I was standing in front of the church watching the game, so...
And then to top it all off, the thing I wanted to see most in this game got taken away from me 45 minutes before the game. It's like God was like, hey, Alex, hey, Paul, fuck you. The Swans are still going to win, so yay for you. But everything that you want in this game is not going to happen because one of you is watching it and the other isn't. But Ella Roberts didn't play. That sucked. It was like, I was really excited, but also really sad. I'm like, this is great because we're going to win. This is shit because I want to watch Ella Roberts play football.
Yeah, it was not having Chloe going into this game, we were like, that's not ideal. And we'll obviously talk about what came out today and all that kind of stuff in the following segs. But then when it came out that Roberts wasn't playing, it was like, well, we've evened the playing field because both teams' best two players are not playing.
I said at that point when that came out that at that point with no Ella Roberts, it is simply the Swans just have to win this game. Like it was a simply must-win game.
Like it would be embarrassing if we had lost.
We had to go and get the job done no matter how we got the job done in that game. And I'll be honest, I've only watched the mini back. I have not watched the full replay because I don't want my original thoughts that I had written down to be taken away by a rewatch because I lived it so much in the moment because we had very different perspectives. Me watching it live, I was stressed, I was annoyed, I was watching on my own, so I was yelling at the TV at certain points. And you watched it back, knowing the result, I think it's a little bit different.
It's 100% is, yes.
Knowing that we've won and, we made a mistake, it's all right. Me losing my shit at some of the overuse of the football, the terrible decisions that we made at certain times. And then some of the goals that we gave up as well. Like they kicked, 3 goals? And 2 of them were for holding the balls 15 metres out. Like that just shit me to tears.
Well, okay, so one of them was for holding the balls 15 metres out. And then 2 of them were basically like chaos ball run, like end-to-end football.
But they got a holding the ball on one of the end-to-end ones when I think Sarah Grundon or Lulu took someone on. Ali was getting held in the ruck. And
she took it out of the ruck and they paid it for taking it out of being tackled for taking it out of the ruck.
Technically, it is a free kick, but I'll get my Ali rant out of the way just straight away. How goddamn often were they going to be allowed to push and block her away from the football and then not touch it in a contest? If you do not touch the footy, it is a free kick. And I'm getting the umpire bit out of the way right now. Holy fuck, they were terrible across the board. I saw West Coast fans going, oh my God, we were robbed. No, you weren't, Rob. The umpiring was just horrendously abhorrent all day. The
Yeah.
competition deserves better. The umpires also deserve more support. But oh my God, it was so bad. Stone cold holding the balls not paid, that were then paid 5 seconds later. Ones that have been paid all year, not getting paid. You can take 5 steps now, get tackled, and not get pinged holding the ball. That is a stone cold rule that we know every week. I know that they've eased up on it because it's been bad, but, the diving on the football ones, okay, ease up on. Not when you take 4 steps and Tanya Kennedy mows you down. That is holding the ball.
Yeah.
There is a long chain that I have with Nicola going back and forth on how bad some of the umpiring was throughout the day because Paul was at a fucking wedding and I couldn't go up, yell in the messages at her. Rant over.
Yeah, it is funny.
Apologies to everyone for yelling and swearing so
Knowing,
much.
because I knew what the discussion was post game, that the umpiring was really, really bad. I think it kind of washed over me when I watched it on Sunday. Granted, I was very, very tired. I wasn't actually hungover, which was good, but I was very, very tired. So there was a little bit of like, I'm probably not processing the same way I would if I was watching this at a normal capacity. But there were definitely ones where I was like, what are we doing? And it comes back to this thing of them, the non-footy states. I know they do send them around, I know, but the non-footy states just not having the same level as umpires as the main footy states because it is expensive to fly them all across the country, and it happens time and time again in the non-footy states. So clearly there's something happening where our umpires just aren't being trained as well in these states. But beside from that, yeah, we both came out of this game feeling very differently. You were like, I thought we played terribly. We are lucky to come away with the win. I didn't see it like that. Yes, I do agree there was parts of the game where we overused the football. That has been an issue we've had all year. That's not a new thing that they've suddenly started doing. But our set plays and our ability to move the ball was just so much better than West Coast. Obviously, we won by 17. It did feel like more. I felt like we had more opportunities at goal. And we have to keep in mind, our forward line was depleted. No Chloe. Cynthia went down in the first 10 minutes, if not earlier. And so we had to have Beck Privatelli, Holly, who has played 3 games this year, Holly Cooper, who has come into form recently but has not been at her best all season, and Giselle Davies be the players to step up in our forward line. And they did. I have full credit to the girls. They stood up when they needed to, and I was very, very impressed by that.
Yeah, I think it was Holly Cooper's best game of her career. Let's remember she's only in her 2nd season so far. She was phenomenal. 10 or 12 touches, kicked a couple of goals, and like genuine snags as well. They weren't just, the sitters from a few meters out. That snap on the run in the last quarter that was the seal, or the third quarter that was the sealer, absolutely phenomenal stuff. Like she has lifted, she's responded to the dropping that wasn't a dropping very well. And I think even sometimes just young players just sometimes need a lightning spark up their ass to really get them into gear, because she's a genuinely talented, like a genuinely good, talented small forward that can kick a lot of goals. She's, of our active players, our leading goal kicker currently. We need her to kick at least a goal or 2 a week in the finals if we're going to make a run. And it's good to see players hitting form at this time of year, because when you think about it, we need that, because, Priv's kicked 3 goals. What was it? This is her 4th game. So her only goals of the year so far. So who knows how she's going to do it against a Carlton or a St Kilda if we happen to play West Coast. We know that Priv's going to be the target. But Holly Cooper around. Giselle Davies with a great set shot as well, by the way. Great kick to go up.
I was getting a slew of text messages from Papa Porridge during the game, and was like, Dad, I'm at a wedding. He's like, no, I'm just letting you know so I can update you so you know when you come out of the game. I was like, I appreciate that. I've got about 15 different people messaging me, but I do appreciate it coming from you. And he is a big Giselle Davis guy. He has picked his girl. It is Giselle Davis. I don't think he's wrong. I think she's definitely a much better player than Reed. It's been the right decision bring her into the team over Reed. And I do like her as a tool, and it is a bit of a bummer because I think she would have been so much better at this point in the season if she had been in the team the entire time. I understand why she wasn't, but it is really good to see her develop and hopefully get a better shot next year. Speaking of young players who got to kick up the arse and turn the lights on, Ash Van Loon. She has been absolutely incredible as the second defender since being dropped. I cannot talk about her highly. we talk, it's a long way from here, faithful, but we do say that Brenner will go to, I think you put, I can't remember who you said Bonnie will go to.
Soap Alexander,
Yes, but I think it might be Van Loon. Van Loon has been the second best defender for mine.
for yours. Okay, that's a big call. 'Cause I suppose Brenner has been out of form. Obviously, it's Ash
Yeah,
that's been, uh, sorry, not Ash. Sorry, it's Alice that's been the one that's been in the best of form all year.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's good to see that because she's another one who got dropped and has come back in and has done the job. And that's actually something that we didn't talk about in the preview because obviously we've recorded this out of order, so we haven't talked about who we think if there's going to be any changes this weekend as well. So we can probably do
Mm,
that in the back end of this before we go to Mars.
yeah.
But just again, we've recorded this out of order. Jess Wrench, who slung tackled Montana Ham on the weekend, her suspension's been upheld. Later in the
Oh,
episode,
sweet.
you'll hear me saying, I don't know if the suspension's been upheld or not. As of, what is it, 8 o'clock? It's been upheld. So she's going to miss a week this week,
Time is a construct.
which is big for West Coast. But you sort of go through the game like Laura Gardner, just another casual 30 with 12 tackles. Not as many clearances, but was just brilliant again, just cementing her case for an All-Australian push once again. The only player other than Ash Riddell to average more than 30 touches a game this season.
Wow.
Does it also show how good a player is it? How old? I don't know. She's 18 or 19. How old a player is it, 18 or 19, that you are getting tagged on a halfback flank? Daisy Pearce put some time into Zippy Fish. They tried to rough her up. They read the set play a couple of times. They knew what was coming because Daisy knows ball. But
But also,
tagging,
she is from Perth, and I probably played against a bunch of those women when she was
yes,
playing
she
in
has.
the waffle full, whatever it's called.
The waffle dub.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes to show how good she is for that to happen. But I also thought not another dominant ruck performance from Ali, but across the ground, I thought she was really good against McGrath.
Her
Like,
marking
yeah,
was phenomenal. And that's
like
just, I think, an
was
area
reading the pill all
yeah,
day.
and she has been doing that all year. And if she hasn't been as dominant in her ruck matchups, she has been beating people to the ball in the air. And I think that is so important for her when she's maybe not performing as well as she regularly does, to
Yeah,
still have that in her kit bag to be able to take a mark and just keep the ball. It's mostly to keep the ball in our forward 50, and she did it all
yeah,
day, and it
it's
was
taking that mark
fantastic.
about 70 meters out, which is key.
Yeah.
And speaking of taking marks up forward, we've got to shout her out. We'd written her off. Scotty Gowans had written her off. Beck Privatelli, 3 goals, great performance. Kicks a 50th when Paul isn't there. Deebs and I scrambling trying to find where this draft is. We had the wrong application. It was a great time, but Priv, it was fantastic to see her do it. I was so happy that she was
Yeah.
able, like, that she took the game by the scruff of the neck. And she seemed pretty casual and low key about it after the game, but you just know inside that she was really happy because it's almost like, yeah, I've still got it. Like
Yeah.
we're in the twilight of her career, and that's not a
It's
slight on her.
not, no.
We're at the back end of her career. She's an OG. To do that in a game where we needed her, oh my God, I was so happy to see it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows I have a lot of love for Priv. She is one of my favorite players, and it has been it's really hard when you see one of your favorite players in their twilight years, especially because she had such a good season last year, to sort of just start to fade. Like we've
Yeah,
seen this as well. One of my absolute favorites is Dane Rampy, and obviously he still has amazing games, but he has started to fade, and we know that by the end of next season, he's probably not going to be in the best 23. So it does hurt when it gets to that point, but the fact she still has it in her, and it's been so close to clicking, she just keeps getting dropped. And I do think this game would have clicked earlier if she didn't keep getting dropped. And I completely understand why Scotty isn't taking risks with someone that's out of form. It makes
yeah,
sense. But I do think, like with her and Giselle, I do think these players would be even better at this point in the season if they had been kept in the team. It is just you just don't know. And we don't have seconds to run these girls through to see how much they're developing. You
yeah.
just have to go off training, which is not anything to go off.
No, it's not. And the scrimmages aren't real enough to sort of say that you're going to do something out of it. But like talking about other players that had good games, because this is a long episode, Faithful, there's your warning. TK, just like she's probably
I reckon
not
she's coming
going to
second in our best and fairest right now.
second or third. She
Yeah.
should be in the All Australian. She's not an All Australian. She should be in the squad. She probably won't
Yeah.
get in there, but her season deserves the respect that
There
it
is
should get.
no better tagger in the league, and I do genuinely believe that. And I
Yeah,
know tagger isn't really a position in all Australia,
there
so
was
it's hard to
yeah.
compare. But
I can't remember from West Coast who did it to Georgie Prasparkas the week before, but yeah,
oh, true. But then she couldn't do it on Zippy, so and
no,
I don't think there's been really anyone that Tanya hasn't been able to take it to. I don't know. I can't remember who she tagged in the North game, so maybe one of the
nah,
North players. But
that doesn't. I
that's an
mean,
admission. It's
they
the
let Jazz
exception that
Garner
proves the rule, as they say.
Jazz Garner and Ash Riddell run free. It was a
Yeah.
complete clusterfuck throughout the day. I thought Sarah Grundon's game was really good as well.
Hmm.
Luce continues to sort of have moments, like she lays good tackles or pop up for a mark, but there's going to be, and it could be this weekend, there's a game where she's just going to completely tear it to shreds, have 15 and kick 2. It's going to happen, and she's not playing badly, but she's not playing to her best, as we know. So
I
it's
think
the
this is
same.
I think this is a thing with Luce where I don't want to say struggles because her good game, sorry, her average game is still good compared to other players. Like she's just that good of a player.
Yeah. So I
But
think
when
this
she has to
weekend,
solo captain, I think it does take a big toll on her, and she ends up her personal game drops quite a bit
yeah.
when Chloe isn't there. But
So
I
I
do think
wouldn't be
she still has
shocked.
the
Yeah.
capability to have a blinder when
So
is the captain.
I reckon this weekend, I think, because we can probably start talking about the selection for this weekend now
Yeah.
too, because we don't talk about it later. I think she moves to half back, and I think
Oh, I hope so.
Sophia starts on the wing. And that's the change, and Paris McCarthy's the one that's going to go out. I think.
Yeah,
I
I
just
agree with you wholeheartedly. Um, Someone will
because
have to come in for
Darcy.
Cynthia as well, though. So maybe Paris doesn't get
Okay,
dropped.
that's true. Yeah, maybe Paris doesn't get dropped. I actually completely spaced on that one, but yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's maybe that. It just depends. We're not going to
because
bring in Caitlin Reid, that's for sure, unless Kiara Hillier is ready to go. I'm
that's
not
the
sure.
only player who hasn't played this year. I'm pretty
I think
sure
she's the
that
only one
is.
that's
Oh,
still fit.
I feel like we also
It's
should
not going to be
mention.
Caitlin Reid.
No, it's not gonna be Caitlin Reid. I'll bring it up in a little bit because I meant to write it in the notes and I completely forgot. But yeah, I think
Oh
Kiara
yes, I know what
Hillier.
you're talking about.
Yeah. I think Kiara Hillier is the only one who hasn't played a game this year, but she's also a
She had a
defender, so
concussion
I
at the
don't
start of the
know.
season as well.
Yeah, I don't know if the magnet. Oh, and Imogen Brown hasn't, and she's also injured at the moment.
Okay.
But I don't know how you shift the magnets to make that work for Kiara.
Yeah, I
It
think it's
makes more
yeah, I
sense
think
to keep Paris in the
yeah.
team.
So Lucy to half back, Sophia goes to the wing, and you keep sort of the bench the same, and it's just that Cynthia
Oh,
drops
Amelia
out.
Martin. Amelia Martin could come back.
Actually, yeah, it could be Amelia for Cynthia down forward because we do
Yeah.
need another sort of marking target. So yeah, we probably get to her that. So yeah, if we're making a change, I think it's Cynthia and Paris out for Amelia and Soph because Soph's just straight back into this team. Like you've got to get a
Oh,
game
without a
into her
doubt.
before the finals. And
Without a
this
doubt.
is if she's 60-40 and she's you don't know, you play her.
It's
You've got to win this
because
game by three
otherwise,
goals.
yeah, this is the thing. If we lose, we're not playing finals. And it is,
If we win and she's injured, we've made finals,
yeah.
and yeah,
And
okay,
it's like,
that's pretty
okay,
shit.
yeah, it's annoying that she won't be there for next week, but at least we've made finals. Like you just
Yeah,
kind of go, okay, we've gotten there. She
yeah,
was at 50% capacity, whatever.
yeah.
You just take it. The thing I was going to bring up, and I think this will be the last thing we touch on before we jump into the social seg because this episode is going to be quite long. Maddie Collier has announced her retirement, which sucks because she has been so injury prone. And she was I think she was our very first signing. So
Co-captain.
a co-captain in the very first season. It sucks. And the girls obviously have gotten completely around her. You hate to see a player have to retire because of injury. We both saw so much in her and she just never was able to reach her full potential because she got a few injuries and then she had issues with concussion. It's been a real rough ride for Maddie. So we wish her all the best. We hope she has a phenomenal post career. I'm sure she'll stay around the club.
Yeah.
It's like her and Brooke were the inaugural co-captains.
She's also one of the nicest people you'll ever
Yeah.
meet. And I just wish that she got to 50 games because
Yeah, she
obviously
was on
last year,
47.
yeah, she had
Like,
a couple of injuries last year coming back from the ACL. She got suspended in her last ever game. Just did not have much luck whatsoever,
yeah.
which is just shit because you knew how good she was and that we didn't get to see her play this year. It was just really disappointing to see. But yeah, hopefully all the best post career. She's had 10 years in the system, so that's amazing. But
Yeah, played at
it's
Giants, played in West Coast. Like she's had
it
it.
also it creates another list spot. Obviously, we'll go to the draft this year again. We will. I'm assuming we're going to be active at the trade table because there's a couple of forwards that are apparently keen on a move elsewhere. But that's something that we could talk about in the off season. That's not for now. But yeah, I think you're going to see these players sort of drift in and out over the next few years now too, because we are moving, and until list sizes get bigger, there's going to be some hard calls made. And I think we've absolutely nailed it with our calls that we did 12 months ago. At the time, we weren't happy, but goddamn, they nailed it.
Oh, yes. Yes. So yeah, Maddie, all the best from us. We hope you stay around the club and maybe you'll just go back to Nara. But again, a West Coast game was fantastic. Alex thinks it was stressful. I think it was actually very fun in the end. Really good goals kicked. Hopefully, obviously Montana Ham was not concussed. She was not on the injury list,
she's
but
good.
I do think that there was a little bit of rattling that happened there. So I think she's going to come out firing this week. But we are going to wrap up the review right here, and we'll come back with Marnie Vinall for the social seg.
This is True Bloods, and we are back with a vengeance, and with a very, very special guest. Let's be honest, it's probably top 2 guests of the years. It's very hard to beat Scotty Goswans, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We can't beat the coach. But sorry, Deebs, you've been demoted straight out of the top 3 here, because straight into the top 2, I don't like many Essendon fans. I'll be honest. I can stomach 2, and this is one of them. And we are joined now by, she's also one of the smartest minds in footy, cops way too much crap on social media that I can't believe someone puts up with, and still manages to smile every time I see her. It is Marnie Vinall. Hello, Marnie.
Hi, what an introduction. To be fair, I also don't like many Essendon fans. I always apologize when I tell people that I go for Essendon. I know.
You're flipping the script though, because since I've met you, I have met a few more. I'm like, okay, you're not too bad. Because initially the ones that travel to Sydney are the worst of the worst.
Yes.
And so when you were like, you're an Essendon fan, I was like, Marnie.
I know. I was like, that doesn't take it. I go for the worst teams, honestly. Not to get too into it, but because I go for the Bombers and then I go for the Gunners, and I was like, she's so problematic. And then
at least
victory.
The Gunners girls have nothing wrong with them and are a perfect, wonderful team. You don't have to acknowledge the men's team.
It's taken our men 5 years, but we are now no longer problematic, but still kind of problematic for what we did previously. But we move on.
Yeah, we're all a little problematic.
Yeah. But we are here to talk all things dub because, let's be honest, it is the final round this week. Of course, we are playing the Bomb Rays at Coffs Harbour this weekend. But I think to start off with, to begin with, I reckon we'll just do a bit of generalised dub chat, because this final round, and if you've seen any of my action on Twitter in the last few weeks, or just anything in the group message with Polly, I've been going insane doing AFL ladder predictors and figuring out who's going to make the finals and who's not going to make the finals. But kind of set the scene for us, Marnes, because there's 4 games that can really affect the top 8. And there's also, of course, North Melbourne and Hawthorn, which is the top 4.
I'm going to re-get the ladder in front of me. I was doing it today because I love when it's just like you go into a game and it's like, okay, cool. If West Coast win, they're in. If St Kilda win, they're in, kind of thing. But because there's so many teams on 24, there's 4 teams on 24 points, so 7th to 10th. It percentage could matter, and my maths brain I feel like I just need other people to tell me as it's happening. I need commentators to be so on it during
big weekend for the live ladder.
Big weekend for the live ladder. But yeah, stressful for Swannies, because you're 9th on 24 points. You're one of those teams, and you're just outside of the top 8 on percentage. And I have that I love the Swannies very, very much. But my prime team, Essendon, I can't even remember being in this position. So, I can't even remember this feeling of I need to. It's going to be a stressful game to play finals.
Well, last time we were in this position was 2 years ago, and we played Freo in Freo, and basically we had to win to make finals, like the girls, this is. And there is footage of me crying for a solid 2 minutes after we did make finals. But it is so stressful coming into this week when, literally anything can happen. I'm so glad the West Coast Carlton game is on Friday
Oh,
before our
yeah.
game, so we know exactly what we're going to need to do to make finals. But yeah, it's the teams that are playing each other also have so many consequences. Like North are playing Hawthorn, which could then mean Hawthorn get jumped because they're probably going to get smashed and their percentage is already not very good. So they're probably going to finish fourth realistically with Melbourne and
Yeah.
Brisbane both jumping them. And
And they're
then
playing
anything.
again next week. Isn't that
Yes.
crazy? Anyway.
And they had never met before. Like that's just insane.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
and then literally anything could happen from 5 to 8 at this point.
I feel like Swannies are in a good spot playing Essendon, who are 15th. But like it really matters, I feel, when it comes to the final round, the whole integrity of the fixture. You really like the fact that like Melbourne haven't played North and they're third.
Oh.
Like Melbourne fighting for a spot in the top two and they haven't played North in the home and away. It's just like the integrity is so compromised.
Yeah, I
Given
think I was gonna say, Mars, you had an article that came out yesterday where you were talking about the dominance of North, and like obviously there's people in both camps where it's good for the game, it's bad for the game. I'm very much in like it's good in the short term, maybe not so good in the long term, or vice versa. Like it's a weird position. But the thing that annoys me the most is that every team doesn't have to play them, and there are two teams that haven't played them at all in their undefeated run. Like West Coast and Giants haven't played them once in 2 years, and it's just like how is that fair? Like.
I
It's
mean,
not.
be fair to the Giants, it wouldn't be fair on them having to play North Melbourne. It would be a slaughter job.
Yes, but and then they won't again next year. Oh, West Coast will because of where
Yeah.
they finished the ladder. But GWS finishing so low, they won't have to play them again.
Well,
No.
they
Well,
might. They
Collingwood
might flip a
did
coin and give them
this
instead
year.
of Brisbane.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. And I think if it wasn't so like lopsided, the table at the moment, you kind of go, okay, you play a good team, you play a bad team. Hawthorn just got lucky that they didn't have to play them to the last round, so they've put themselves in such a good position without getting a massive slap to their percentage, which their percentage is already really bad because they have not played particularly well. Like
But the
them being
biggest,
second is just insane to me.
don't start
It
me on it.
is.
The biggest point of it is, I suppose, if you look at the top eight, is that West Coast, having not played North, have still got a percentage of 118, whereas the Swans, having played, Melbourne and North Melbourne, are at 108. You don't know what West Coast's percentage would have been had they played North Melbourne, because that couple of percent could really come in handy on the weekend. Like if somehow they do lose, but then Adelaide lose as well and Sydney lose, they're going to hold on by their percentage because they've got such a better percentage than Port Adelaide at the moment as well. So it's kind of lucky for them. And then you look at Carlton last week, the rain delays actually going against them in the end because they were up, 60-3?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, GWS kicked 4 goals. About time they did something, thank God.
I was like, how did
And
we lose to I still don't know how we lost to the Giants.
but it makes for this like this last game of the season is going to be Fremantle and Adelaide, and it's going to be winning you're in. And I think that for a competition where we kind of know the ending, the crescendo towards that, the journey is actually really good. And I'm going to be on the couch on Sunday night watching it. I can't wait. This is going to be fantastic. I think the little victories that you can take away along the journey is what makes it, so fun. Like we know North Melbourne's going to win, but we're going to see a lot of really good footy in the next 5 weeks.
And not to immediately compare to the men's, but I feel like the run into finals, I was just so exhausted that I remember just being like, oh yes, I like watching Fremantle play, but I'm not going to be upset if they get sent home. Where every single W team, I don't feel like I've watched enough of yet. So I genuinely am riding it so much deeper because I'm just like, who is going to play finals? Who do I get to see again? Who do I not get to see for 9 more months? There's so much more emotion into this finals run for me personally.
Yeah, for sure. And I think as well, there's so many teams where I just still haven't been able to get a read on them. Like I'll be like, I think that they're not that great. And then you watch a game, and you're like, oh, actually, they've been fantastic in this game. So maybe my perception of them has been wrong. Like Port's one of those teams who I think potentially could just sneak in if things go their way. It has to be every single domino in front of them has to fall down. But they've been so good at this back in the season where you're like, one, it's annoying that you couldn't do this all season. But two, you kind of just turn off from these teams that you expect to be at the bottom of the ladder, and they're still pulling out good footy.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm a big
So I
proponent
found
of
a way to
no.
get them into the finals, by the way. I've just found on the ladder. They need Carlton to beat West Coast by a lot. They need to beat the Giants by about 100.
That's not impossible.
And then Sydney and Freo need to lose.
Look, as I said, all the dominoes need to fall down in front of them. It is very difficult for them, but it is a hypothetical thing that could still happen.
Yeah.
And I think as well, the fact that, like, I think it's all the way down to 11th have chances to still play finals, which is something we did not see in the men's season this year, which makes it really exciting coming into this final round. I'm a big finals bye hater. I don't like the bye before the finals, but I feel like I need it for the W. I'm like, I just need a week off to just regroup and like
It's happened so fast.
yes.
It all happened so quickly. And to be across all, as you said, there's 11 teams in contention, technically. That it's hard to like be across all of them really well in the space of like a week.
And the fact that there's no obvious second as well, I think is so interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like if you take North out of the equation, genuinely like that top 8 is so spicy to me. Like it's so interesting. There's not a clear divide. I mean, yeah, maybe there is a clear divide within top 4 and then the bottom 4. But even so, like if you give me Hawthorn, Carlton in the finals, it's not definitely Hawthorn a winning.
No. Even like the Saints have gone on this 6-game run, and yeah, granted, if you look at the teams they beat in that 6-game run, most of them were not top teams. But they could, you never know. They're on a good day, they pull out a really good game, and so does every team in that 8. That's why they're in the 8. So you just don't know. And a lot of Melbourne fans have been saying to me, like, because I think Melbourne is going to be a North Melbourne final, I've been like, no. Melbourne just foot collapse at any point. Like, don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Melbourne has the ability to absolutely collapse at any point.
But if they can get a home final over Brisbane, so like because it's 2 and 3 are going to be Brisbane or Melbourne. If they get the home final, I think they'll beat Brisbane. So, and again, they just played each other.
Yeah.
And that game was wild on Saturday night. Like the first quarter and a half, the intensity of that game, like the score may not have been high, but it was finals-like pressure. Like this was Melbourne going, we want to make a statement. And Brisbane, who I've had the ick about all year, finding ways to get the job done. And I'm just like, oh yeah, they're just going to get there and know what to do. It's all year it's been, you get to the finals and we know what we're doing. But for them, I've got an ick, whereas Melbourne, I'm like, oh yeah, they're fine. Like if Eden Zanker, Kate Hoare and Taylor Harris have a night out, they can kick a score that's competitive with anyone, even North Melbourne. But then it's also like, oh yeah, how are their defenders going to go against Sheila, Randall, and Bogue and Vicky Wall? And they're cooked. Yeah. I do that, and then I get to that point. But I think other than North, this is like, okay, I think that, Melbourne and Brisbane will be good grand final opponents for North. If it's anyone else, it's like, you're going to turn up and be like, all right, let's just give Jasmine Garner her second best on fairest, best on ground medal. And let's celebrate. Let's give them the confetti and just hope that it's not a complete smashing.
Oh, like let's try and break some records. What's the biggest margin in a grand final?
Yeah, can we get to 100?
Yes. And I reckon that like Brisbane are probably taking all of that chat so badly. Like even last year, they were so like, how are we this much of an underdog going into the grand final? Because they were the reigning premiers at the point, and everyone's just like, but North are just like a step above.
Different. Yeah.
North had smashed them by 60 in round 1. That's why.
Yeah, but they were still just like, how is everyone like not rating us? And I reckon the fact that everyone is being like, no one can beat North, they've already basically got the premiership. Brisbane and like Stars are probably taking that really, really badly, which is just mean they're going to be like very vicious during finals, which I love. Like I want to watch that. I want to watch it. Bad.
I think the only way North can lose at this point is if just complacency, which I don't think this North team will get to that point. But with everyone telling them they're the best of the competition and the best team that anyone's ever seen, there is a level of like, well, we are, and forgetting how to play and getting, the big lights, as they say. Alex Thumb is currently...
Sorry, yeah, my iPad's just playing up again. It's just great. We're having tech issues, Faithful. It's great.
So if a team can feed into that, which may not happen, it hasn't happened in 22 games or 23 games they're up to now, they could pip them. It's going to be hard, but it's not impossible.
Can I just have like a bit of one of my pet hates about that whole thing is that they tied with Geelong last year. They've been undefeated for 23 games, but they haven't won 23 games.
Yes.
And I'm actually starting to be like, everyone's just skipped over that. Like everyone's like pretty like on it at the start when we're talking about the records and stuff. And it was just like, oh, they've gone like this many games that they've won, but it's been undefeated for XYZ.
I didn't even like it last year.
Don't care. Now everyone's just like one.
Yeah, I didn't even like it last year when they were like, oh, it's an undefeated season. I'm like, you guys still drew. Like
that still counts as invincible. I go for a team that went invincible. They drew 11 games. They didn't lose.
It's different when it's soccer.
But I think also, isn't it like it's if they get to the end of the season, it'll be 24. It'll be 28 undefeated, but won't it be like 25 consecutive wins?
Sure.
Because I think it was like round 2 or 3 last year. They had that draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, I thought Geelong were going to beat them this year. And then Geelong have been absolutely terrible all season. And I keep thinking they're going to become good, and then they keep not being good.
And they should be good.
They should be good.
On, well, and Georgie Press-Parkers is never not on, but like when they're all properly like firing, they're so good. There's no reason they should not be.
It's a little bit like Richmond in that like they're doing this big investigation. They've announced today that Richmond are going through a big review. And it's like, okay, well, you got rid of your VFLW team and you don't have a training facility. That's probably why you guys are shit. Don't, sorry. Like,
no, it is. It's my favorite like comparison to make when people are like, why are North so good though? Like, why are they so good? Like, well, if you look at the depth and even the fact that like their VFLW program are also back to back, like they care about every layer of that women's program. They have invested so hard. When they play an AFLW debutant, that player is so ready to go because otherwise they're playing in the VFLW. Like they're not, even though the state leagues aren't
and there are definitely like benefits that because North have built such a solid foundation, they get that other teams don't get the like just can't do. Like the interstate teams don't have a VFLW that they can blood players through during the preseason, and I think that's a big reason why we've seen 5 teams in the top 8 from Victoria. Just say like it's
the like the state leagues not aligning is literally the worst thing I think for the W, and we could not.
And then like
I do think though that it is refreshing if it happens if Adelaide do miss the finals. I know that'll suck for them. But for them to miss the finals is like a massive deal. Like it should not be missed. That Adelaide going 6-6 and missing the finals is like one of the biggest slides that we've seen in this competition. I know Melbourne did it last year as well. But this is the Adelaide Crows with the reigning best player in the competition with this unbelievable list. And they've been quite average at times this year, and they could miss the finals. So it's like it's good that you're seeing Sydney, Carlton, West Coast, St Kilda, because this time last year we're going, oh, geez, what's Nikki Dowell doing at St Kilda? Geez, I don't know how to feel there. Oh, yeah, Daisy's doing stuff. West Coast will be good. They've springboarded again. And Carlton, they've spent all the money with their soft cap and on all their facilities. They've really bought into the culture and the club, and the results have shown. And obviously the Swans have bounced back after an injury year from hell. And Freo have been good once again. So, like, having, 11, 12 teams in contention with the Dogs not too far away as well. Overall, I think it's a really good sign for the comp. It's just that we have this undefeatable monster.
Yeah, I think West Coast is another really good example of that, though, because it's just like they were not doing very well with Prior, and then they decided we're going to put so much money on the table here to get Daisy Pearce over from Victoria. We're going to like really make sure that we are caring about this team and we're getting someone in who we think will be really good for it. They didn't just go, oh, like, well, who's like kicking about that we could get in as the coach? They really were like, no, we're going to take this seriously. And they've like changed so much. I not say overnight because the work
it's a lot of work in the background.
Yes, but it feels overnight because it feels like it's from one season to another that they just completely different. It's like,
and I think it's nice to see the clubs that are putting in effort are the ones that are reaping rewards. It's just, I think, disheartening for fans of those clubs to go, okay, we're putting in all this effort and we're still not at the level that North are. And then, North are not going to be, until they get rid of the tiered system, like the tiered pay system, they're just not going to be defeated. Like, no one's going to overtake them as in that sort of top tier role. And so I think you go, oh, like, it's great to see the development. It's great to see these teams making finals now. But there are going to be fans that are like, well, what's the point if no one's going to be able to beat this figure like that.
Like more fans probably felt that 3-4
True.
years ago when they were
Yeah.
in the West Coast are in now, and everyone was saying they're a really good side, but they can't beat the top four. Like the whole narrative, even going into the start of last year, was kind of like they're a really good side, but can they beat Melbourne, Brisbane, and Adelaide? And now it's, like it happened very quickly for
Yeah.
them.
And I just hope from this season, the teams that are kind of the bottom of the barrel take this as their example and go, okay, Eagles have done it, Carlton have done it, Sydney have done it, St Kilda have done it. They've thrown money at it, and clearly it's working and it's going in the right direction. Maybe we need to start taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Well, especially the clubs that have been in there since foundation.
Yes, I very much agree with that.
Like the club. Okay. This really grinded my gears this week. So I was just scrolling Instagram and I got an ad from Port and I was like, why am I getting Port Adelaide ads? That's strange. It was an ad for their game against the Giants at Henson Park on the weekend from Port's perspective. It wasn't even a Giants ad. It wasn't. Port were advertising their game in Sydney to Sydney-siders and the Giants aren't even doing that. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you get to go watch Indy Tahau kick like 7 goals. That's going to be awesome. You get to watch Ash Woodland. Like, that's a great time. Like,
Yeah, like
I enjoy watching Port. I'm probably going to watch this game to see what kind of carcass Port create because they are the funnest team in the comp right now.
If this wasn't back to back with the Swans game, I would go. But the AFL keep scheduling games of the Giants and the Swans on the same day, so you can't go to both. Which or watch both, like get home in time to watch the second game. Like, it's just stupid.
I'm not watching Richmond and Gold Coast at 3:05. No
well,
offense,
really
guys.
back to back spoon balls for Gold Coast this week, the last 2 weeks.
Yes. We're set up for a great week. Like, I think we've sort of danced away from that. Like, obviously, there's a lot of things we could have probably like a 7-hour TED talk as to ways to fix the AFL. I can also probably do it in 20 minutes if you gave me the time. But we've gone away from like this season. It's been like the skill and talent on show. Records are being broken every week as far as goals, scores, amount of goals kicked for a season, disposals. We've seen everything lift up incrementally throughout the year. And for a sport that's in its 10th professional season, holy shit, this is like it's the jump on board now because the rise is coming. Like you're genuinely hitting the wave right now. Like you're paddling in the water to keep up with it, and it's just going to be not smooth sailing, but geez, this ride's going to be a hell of a lot of fun in the next 5 years.
Yeah, even anecdotally, like my Papa Porridge, my dad, he's a very big women's sports watcher, but in the early seasons, he's like, I just can't watch the AFLW. The skill's just not there. I just genuinely do not find it enjoyable. And I was like, that's okay. You don't have to watch it. Like, it's fine. And there wasn't a Swans team, so I wasn't super paying attention to it either. And then this season, he's watching more of just random games than I am. Like, he'll just be texting me. He's like, oh my God, are you watching Melbourne, Brisbane? I'm like, no, I'm out. Like, why are you watching Melbourne, Brisbane? Like, it's so obvious that the skill has gotten so much better and it is such a better product than it was 10 when it started 10 seasons ago. And I think I said this at the start of the season, if you're not jumping on now, you're going to regret it because you're missing this whole foundational era that's just going to be talked about for years and years and years to come. It's the best. And I just wish I wasn't so burnt out by this point of the season.
Oh my God, absolutely same. But to that like point, it's so fun that being in the 10th season, having like actual narratives that we are really seeing come through. Like even like Hawthorn and Brisbane hating each other. Fun, spicy, love it. Even just like over the weekend, they were pushing the like Essendon Hawthorn rivalry, and I was like, stop.
Which like a little bit. Like I think that all of the teams that came in last have a bit of a rivalry, especially Hawthorn and Port. That is a proper rivalry.
Yeah,
they hate each other.
Yeah. And I love that. Like it's so fun. And even just like watching or like Abby Darrett get the showdown and just knowing like the context behind her and just like it's so I'm not explaining this well, but it's just I feel like as well, like going, oh my goodness, at the same time that we're seeing all of these like skills improve and like the product improve, we're also seeing a lot of the emotion of the game really like be embedded, and that is just so fun, I think, from a fan perspective.
Also, they hated each other in the showdown. There was a couple of near-on brouhahas. It was awesome.
I love it.
Like The Swans and Giants don't like each other. And speaking to a few of the Swans players during the year, this is a game they've been waiting 13 months for. They have been waiting for this since grand final week last year at Whitten Oval. I think there's going to be some physicality in this because I think there's a bit of feeling between the two teams. I think that's one that's bled over from the men's as well because obviously there is that Sydney and Essendon have that weird rivalry that dates back about 30 years. But I think this weekend, as a viewer, like the Swans need to win. Do you not think Essendon and Tan and the team are just like, we're gonna fuck up your season, like bring it on?
They're not going to fly to Coffs Harbour for no reason.
It's close to the Gold Coast where you can start your silly Sunday very quickly.
Big Banana.
Should we get to the Ask the Faithful before we get off track completely?
I say Mad Monday at the Big Banana. I made myself.
Hey, done worse Mad Mondays, don't worry.
Okay, so this week for the Ask the Faithful, I went with the equation is simple: win against the Dons, and we're playing finals. But who do you want to see in the first week of finals? Best answers to be featured on the potty. Now, I'm going to start over on your Facebooks for this one. With Damien Franco. I thought this one was good. He doesn't specifically answer the question, but I did think it was a good answer regardless. He said, doesn't matter who, as long as Beck Privatelli is playing in the forward line. Was the missing piece of the puzzle for our goal scoring, and question why she hasn't been playing a lot this season. Okay, she wasn't playing a lot this season because she had not been good up until last week.
Did anyone find the press conference not weird, but Scotty basically insinuated that he'd written her off. And then it's like, oh, this was great. But basically, yeah, she was kind of done. And it was like, did you just tell everyone the quiet part out loud, Scotty?
We were thinking it was going to be similar to last year where I accidentally retired Brooke Lachlan. And I genuinely thought she was not going to get those to the 50 goals. And it was very exciting to see her actually get there. Because I had a video sitting in my drafts for 12 weeks.
That has been very fun. We've had that since the Sydney Swans Open Media Day of the goal celebrations that Priv will do with Laura, Sophia, and Lucy. Everyone knew it. So yeah, there is a very good text chain of me and Deebs trying to break into Polly's drafts to try and post it. It did not go well.
Oh, that's so
I had
funny.
to post it the next day. I was like literally outside the church being like, post the TikTok! The TikTok!
And we thought it was in Instagram. It was a whole thing. It was like, yeah, we didn't know it was on TikTok. That's how bad.
I literally said, post the TikTok.
I blame Deeps. He led me on a bad path. We'll go to Saundo. Daniel Saunders for mine. For your Saundo. It would have to be the Crows. Felt like that game a few weeks back was the one that got away, and we wouldn't be in the logjam if we won. It would be absolute vindication if we could do them over in week one, but we need to get there first. Is there a way we could miss out if we win, i.e. narrow margin win and Carlton lose to West Coast by a narrow margin? Anyone run the numbers? Either way, at least we'll know the equation by then and should be able to send one of them to ninth. Go, girls. Yes, Saundo, I have run the numbers. Provided the Swans win by more than 3 goals, we will play finals. That's pretty much it. It gets to about 13 points, depending on the result between Carlton and West Coast. If it's a close loss for Carlton and we only win by a kick, we're in trouble. So the Swans need to put the foot down this weekend. So yes, we're cheering Carlton on Friday night.
Which feels illegal, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I will put aside.
And Carlton coming off that really big win against GWS, that should be, you think.
My biggest concern is West Coast haven't lost at home this year.
And it's also a 5-day backup for Carlton as well.
Oh, and in that torrential rain and stuff, so their bodies are going to be so sore.
Yeah.
And we've seen Carlton, and we can talk about Carlton a little bit here as well. I think Carlton are the best downhill skiing team in the competition. If they get up and about, you can't stop them. But as I've heard many a sports commentator say, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And if you hit Carlton first and you really get physical with them and beat them around the ball, they kind of go into their shells and you can run all over them. As we've seen, like some of their results, they've been blown out this year. But when they get a roll on, you can't really stop them. So it's stopping them that's the main thing. And well, I mean, my favourite player in the competition, Ella Roberts, could be back, and she is going to drive West Coast to probably a finals run, which is going to be a bit flattening for us because that means the Swans will need to win by a margin. But hopefully she's back this week because I enjoy watching her play football.
Yeah,
That was a great,
exactly right.
yep. Couldn't agree more with that Carlton take. And your West Coast take. No, it's but it is it I do find it's very troubling when teams over rely on one player. So that will
Yeah, and I think that's also been that was good for the Swans on the weekend. They've won that game without Cynthia Hamilton for 95% of the game. No Chloe and no
No,
Sophia
Soph.
Hurley as well. I think that was really good. And I think Monham, like, even though she didn't come off with a concussion, she clearly was rattled by that tackle in the first quarter. That's actually gone to the tribunal, that tackle, because
Yeah.
Wrench did get 1 week and they're fighting it. I don't see how she can get off. It was face first, but I don't know what's a suspension and what isn't a suspension this year. Apparently, you can elbow people in the face and get away with it. So what do I
Or pull people's hair, which I'm pretty sure is a
know?
suspendable act.
Just fine,
So,
fine.
like, yeah, bizarre. The West Coast Carlton game, I think, is really definitely just going to come down to who's available for West Coast this week.
Uh, we've got one here on Instagram from Anna. I hope we play St Kilda. We haven't come up against them this year, and I think we can smoke them. Everyone else with a chance of finishing fifth to eighth have played already and defeated them except for Adelaide. If we make it into the eight, I feel like we can make it through to the first round of the finals. Exciting and nerve-wracking time to be a Schwannies fan. No lies.
Yeah, I agree. And if it's in St Kilda, it's a lot easier for me to get to Melbourne than it is to get to Perth. So that.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be at Icon Park or RS. I don't know.
I
Down
think
at Moorabbin
they're
with
all
a
at
Ferris wheel.
Icon. I think all the finals in Melbourne are at Icon.
I'm
Oh, that's all
still
right.
actually happy with that because I can walk to Icon from my
It
house.
is a 15-minute drive instead of a 55-minute drive, so I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
And they will finally have all the concession stand opens where you can get the best hot chips at Icon Park. It's a great place down the bottom of the stairs. When finals are on, they may open it all up.
I'm really upset that Icon got rid of pool wines this year. I loved Ed Kerno had his stand, his pool wine stand,
Yeah.
and they just Carlton were like, not again. Can't have it this.
Oh,
I know.
They
So
knew
maybe
Charlie was leaving. They're like, Ed, your brother's
oh,
leaving.
actually, they're like, no Kernos.
Okay.
That's
Mm.
actually funny.
So we do have a couple of speak pipes. A few of these are from post game. One of them is from Deebs from about half an hour ago. So we'll play that one last. But first, we've got this one from Vicky from post game.
Hey gang, it's Vicky from Ballarat here, just jumping on the speak pipes to cheer that gutsy win by the ladies on Saturday. What a game. Frankly, I think all the girls played brilliantly, but honestly, Ali Morfitt, amazing. LG on her 50th game, amazing. Montana Ham, amazing. Beck Privatelli with those 3 goals, amazing. Holly Cooper was fantastic. Zippy Fish, if she is not the 2025 rising star, then there's something wrong. But for mine,
For yours,
For
Vicky.
yours.
Kennedy, absolute pure class the entire day. That woman epitomizes blood culture 100%. Couldn't get enough watching her. Amazing game. Can't wait until we face the Bombers this week. We're going to bring it home, up the potty, and up the Swans. And also,
Hey.
quick best wishes to Cynthia for a speedy recovery.
Oh,
Oh,
there.
that was lovely.
Yes, thank you, Vicky. That was
Good
great.
stuff, Vicky.
We have this one from Mark.
Hey, True Bloods legends. Mark from Hornsby Heights here. Great game today. I was at the ground and I thought the entire team played exceptionally well. There was no one standing out as just having a bad day. And all of the team had some awesome moments. Priv killed it. Montana killed it. Ali Morfitt killed it. Sarah Grunden had a really, really good game. She played some really good football around the contest. Lulu and her work rate is just exceptional. You cannot fault her. She is so, so good. Holly Cooper had a great game. I thought the umpiring was still really bad despite our win, but I'm super encouraged for our chances of getting the top 8 now. That was a really, really solid game by the girls, and they should be very, very proud of themselves. Great fun, Watched it on the telly when I got home as well. I think you guys should check out Ella Roberts' hit on Cynthia Hamilton, because it really looked like she went for her deliberately, knee and elbow. I hope not, but looking at it on the ground and looking at it also afterwards, it really looked bad. Anyway, love the podcast. Great game today. Keep it going.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, definitely wasn't Ella Roberts because she didn't play.
It might have been Jess Wrench or
Yeah.
Lewis as well, because she was out there and they were hitting in all day West Coast. It was a very physical game. It was watching back the replay of that Cynthia thing just quickly. First instinct is, oh, her knee's gone back, and then you watch the replay again and you see her ankle touch the ground. You're like, oh yeah, that's why you're in a moon boot. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And the injury report that's come out today does say ankle and knee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which ideally I'd hope, this is going to sound so weird, but I hope it's just her ankle. Like I hope that's where the main issue is, because the last thing we want to see is another ACL. We already saw
Yeah.
one in a different game this week. So fingers crossed she's all good. But yeah,
We can talk
agree
about
with-
ACLs when we get to Essendon too. Holy moly, they've had an unlucky year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll hear from the big man himself, Mr. Deebles, and see what he had to say.
Oh,
Yes, true bloods. Assume that you're well. AD Pole doing a cracking job. Marnes, thanks for coming in. We really appreciate your time. In reference to the hashtag Ask the Faithful, now you guys know I'm a big wordsmith and I'm here at the lock shop just looking. I've Googled defined. I've said, give me some complicated words for beating, for who I would want to take down in a final. And I haven't quite got anything here. What have I got? Vanquish, overwhelm, subdue, conquer. Just not quite working for me. But I'd love to take down the Saints in a final. We all know what we think of that footy club. Really average operators. But the AFLW team is doing some things, but I think it's one where we could get the job done. You know, Alice Mitchell to Jesse Wardlaw, and that's game over for mine. Doing a cracking
Yours.
job in there, as I said. Go well. Hope you're having a good show. All the best. Up the bloods, up the girls. Let's go.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
I think Deeps is still angry in the verbal confrontation he got it with the Saints fan after we beat them earlier in the season. I think he's still a little bit mad.
I haven't heard about this.
Oh, no, he just, a guy tried to lip off to us about losing in grand finals after we just beat them. And he's like, mate, your team is just shit. Like, your club sucks. And there was a few more words, but yeah, I think Deeps is a little bit cheesed off about that still, which is fair. Because, like, imagine being a St Kilda fan trying to throw a lip at a team that's won a final in the last decade. No,
Imagine just being a St Kilda fan trying to throw a lip. Like,
yeah.
No, I like this Swannies Saints hypothetical.
I think it's the most fun because it is who we haven't played yet.
And we lost to them last year when
Yeah.
it was raining sideways when I was hungover after the Giants.
And Chloe had just done her
qualifying final
ACL.
win. And then she hadn't done it, and then she'd done it, and I was standing next to Gemma Bastiani, and she's like, no, she's done it. I'm like, I'm too hungover to deal with this. Why are you ruining my day? And then I got rained on in the media at the centre. It was a bad day.
So yeah, and to not to be at their regular home ground as well. I think that's the biggest benefit of playing one of the Victorian teams, except for like Carlton, is that you have to play at Icon Park, and so you're not really playing at your home venue, which I think is a huge benefit. I wouldn't want to play at RESCA. But I think that pretty much wraps up the social seg. We'll be right back after this to preview the upcoming Dons game. Welcome back to the preview. We are here to preview the upcoming Dons game up at Coffs Harbour. I think it's just called, it's got a fancy name, but it's like Sex Stadium, which I think is really funny because C.ex, it's literally Sex Stadium.
Isn't it like Coffs Harbour International Sports Centre or something?
Yeah, but shortened is what they put on the app, and it's just
Sex
C.ex.
Stadium. Let's go.
At Sex Stadium, and we're playing the gayest team. So, but we still have
We are,
Marnie
because they've got Gaylor and Maddie Gay in
Gaylor,
the team.
Gay.
So.
There's a lot.
There's others as well that we
Yeah,
won't.
there's been discussed in depth about all the names in the Essendon team.
Nope, we're not going there. I'm not getting cancelled for this.
But we are still joined by Marnes, who is well known as an Essendon fan, but she's also got a big soft spot for the Swannies, so she's not going to be too biased, unlike us.
I'm a member of both.
They see?
Love that.
Yeah. Foundation member of both. Couldn't help myself.
Nice. Love that. Love that for us. But take us a little bit into Essendon's year. Obviously, it hasn't been a great year, going 3-8, and you look at the ladder and some of their games, you're like, oh, like round one was so fun and exciting. But since then, it's been obviously a little bit disappointing. But holy crap, your injury list is long. And they're not short-termers, and then players that have come back from injury have had sort of in and out seasons. And then Bonnie got suspended at one point. And she's been in and out with her form as well. So take us in. I haven't watched every Essendon game. I've probably watched enough to get a good idea. But what's gone wrong? Because obviously there was a few trades last year that went a bit haywire as well.
You've summed it up well in that it's been very disappointing, with the big caveat of there's been a lot of injuries, and a lot of injuries to a lot of crucial players where, like, if you take out Maddie Gay, who I think, other than Georgia Nanspawn's, probably Essendon's best player, you take out Maddie Gay, you take out Sophie Van Hoovel, you take out Brooke Brown was out for a bit, you take out a lot of the defense, and they then have to try and manage that. So Bonnie's been like swinging forward and back, who at the start of last year, arguably people would have said was Essendon's best player before she did.
Yep.
And was out for a long time. And then you put her in the back line, and then the forward line, you had Georgia G out for quite a long time. You've had so many crucial players that it's just, okay, so who's there to kick goals now? There's no one to kick goals. You're going to leak them. You also can't put them on the board. Also, I think that when you take out like those significant points on a list, everything kind of just crumbles and falls apart when you've got such a developing, I would argue, list. And I know that there's the point that was made on the W show a few weeks ago of, well, you can't really say that any list is inexperienced or developing, because every list in the AFLW is inexperienced and developing. I agree with that. I also think that if you look at particular lists like Essendon's, like realistically, how many players on Essendon's list are going to get a game at North, are even going to get a game on at Melbourne, right? Like it's not many. Like that list is just
probably
not
three.
Yeah, literally probably three. And one of those is Georgia Nanspawn, who North delisted, by the way. So like the players are just not at the players that are on the park are just not at the standard that I think a lot of players.
It's like people are taking the term developing how we mean it in the men's, in terms of like everyone's like a third or at the most a third year player, when it's not really like that. It's how much time they've actually had on the track and how much time they've had experiencing these big clubs. Because we talked about this after the North, when the Swans played North, that all the Swans have to go off is scrimmage matches, and even when they're playing their own teammates, they're not coming up against anyone of the caliber of North at our own club. Yeah, okay, you can tackle Chloe and get a sense of what it's like to tackle Jasmine Garner, but that's not going to give you the same experience of actually playing these clubs. So the Dons and the Swans came into the league at the same time. So we've pretty much been on very even playing fields the entire time our two teams have existed. And you guys are having very much the season we had last year. We also finished 15th last year. We had a horrible run with injuries. So it's always been very even between our clubs, I think. And I do think you guys are very much having a one club mentality year.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, the one club mentality, I think, is really, really apt for Essendon, because if you look what happened in the men's, even just, okay, so you had all of these injuries, which meant that the players that weren't injured just got completely worn out. Like Zach Merritt, by the end of it, he was so just over-relied on, and he was so worn out. And the same, I think, is happening in the women's, except that there's not, I mean, the champion players that are really on that list as it is. So everyone who is a good player is just getting like so tired. But
Maddie Prasparkas genuinely looks tired.
In the comparisons, I'm fine to say I think there is a fitness problem. It's games where players are trying to take themselves off the ground. If you watch, and I'm so sorry to continuously talk about North, but it's just the easiest comparison to draw. Those players want to be out on the park. You're like, yes, they're doing their rotations because they play as a team really, really well. But you, like Mon Conti in Richmond, you cannot get her off the park. She's playing like majority of those games. With Essendon, you have some of their strongest players asking to come off, running off, taking themselves off. There is such a fitness problem that I don't think they can run out games. And we see it even last week against Hawks, competitive-ish in the first half, could not run out the second half. The week before, in the first quarter, everyone like in Essendon camps was like, oh, they're actually looking all right here. I was like, yeah, wait till
yeah.
Nah, fall over. They held North scoreless for the opening quarter of their game. Yes, the wind played a very big role, but they got so overconfident from doing that. Then they held Melbourne to 11 points the week after that, and they got so overconfident, I think, by challenging these strong teams in parts, but they just can't play four quarters.
It's really interesting because we had the chance to talk to Scotty Go Swans. When was that? Round 5, Alex?
Before the Collingwood game.
Yeah, and he was talking about how when they build their program, they have an S&C program that goes all the way to the grand final. And that's not we're expecting to make the grand final, but we have planned out our fitness regime so that we can get to the grand final. Because the last thing you want to be doing is making a grand final and being burnt out, right?
Yeah.
And it'd be really interesting to see how Essendon set their structure up, because it doesn't sound like they have that.
Yeah.
And granted, like there's probably been a lot of stuff where they probably did have a thing listed out, but then it's like this person got injured and this person got injured and this person got injured. So players who maybe not been on the same fitness regime have had to change, and that's a big ask to do in 12 weeks.
Totally. And like I also don't want to spend a lot of time talking about kind of getting into the weeds of Essendon for potentially an audience that doesn't care that much about Essendon.
Well, to be fair, most of our listeners care just about the W in general, so it's fine.
Okay. But I also, when it comes to that, and it comes to the seriousness that we're taking a run to a potential grand final, if you look at Essendon Club as a whole, I mean, yes, there was those reports from Caroline Wilson on Agenda Resetters that Zach Merritt was disrespectful to the AFLW team because he wanted to do set shots when they were training. And it very much, to my knowledge, that's not a Zach Merritt problem. That is an Essendon problem. That is a top-down problem. And there is definitely like a divide between the way that club prioritizes the men's and prioritizes the women's. And even you had Dave Barham step down as president and hand over to Andrew Walsh. And it's just like, okay, so you've decided that you're going to wait till the end of the men's season to do the massive leadership changeover. But you not even taking into account how disruptive that would be for the women. Like that's not even in none of the dialogue was it, how is this going to affect the women who are in season? And that to me is very reflective of how the kind of prioritization that the women's team potentially could have.
Well, you can look at that from a Swans perspective as well, because technically speaking, Pab's first day isn't until next Monday, which is after the home and away season of the W.
Yeah,
like, and he was speaking, he was at Henson Park.
He's already started. Like, yeah, he's
on the weekend.
He's been at games. He's been at the grounds. He's been getting around, and then you see like Harry Cunningham is genuinely an assistant coach of the team. Like
out of nowhere, no one really knows. All of a sudden, he was assistant coaching. We're like, okay,
yeah.
But it does, like, not to rub salt in the wound, man, but it is, I think, nice to get that perspective from someone from a club that doesn't have that same sort of connection between the men's and women's teams that our club does. Like, you can very clearly see the care that they put into the women's team is the same care that they put into the men's team. And if hypothetically, like Zach Merritt getting upset that he couldn't take set shots while the women were training, they would just all train together at the Swans. And I think it's nice to hear it, even though it sucks for Essendon, to hear like we are doing the right thing and we're going in the right direction. And it is nice to have that one club mentality.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I know that I actually do have a lot of sympathy for him at the moment, especially watching the way the manager. But if you have strongly denying all of those claims about how much you disrespected the AFLW program, why haven't I seen you at any games this year?
Yeah. Why it's not that hard to
Martin at the game over the weekend, and I know that there's a big, like spotlight on him at the moment, but like
it's a very easy way to get back in good favor with the Dons fans, which are going to have to play and for the next year. So the PR would be helpful. And it is funny because we were talking about this last week when Alex and I were there for the Carlton at Henson Park for the Carlton game. We had men's Swans players walk past us just on the hill, like just there, like not even any spotlight were on them. They were just there. Like, and that's the kind of, I think, difference that you get in Sydney compared to a lot of other clubs at the moment.
Yes. I mean, even I am a little bit adverse to every time there's men's plays at games, we need to put them all over social
Oh,
media.
100%. 100%.
But the Swannies men's players, they're genuinely watching with their hearts on their sleeve.
Like it was.
That's why you didn't see them on the screen. They were sitting on the hill having a tin. It was great.
Yeah. It was Justin McInerney, who is dating Laura Gardner, so that's probably the main reason he was there.
I knew that.
Polly, are you trying to out another thing on the internet?
Kelly Underwood outed them.
I did too, yeah.
Wait, recently?
In an article she did about them in like round 6,
Oh
she
my
had
God,
mentioned it.
I love that so much. They're so cute. Oh, McInerney's just such like a little teddy bear, and like I love Laura, obviously.
Yeah.
So 2 and 2 was put together in fairness in round 3 when we've rocked up to Geelong and Justin McInerney's there, and then after the game there's a photo of LG and Justin together. I'm like,
on the story, and we're like, okay, that's a hard launch.
Yeah, like good for them. I honestly do not care, but it's good for them.
Yeah, so he was just thinking
as if you're gonna go to Geelong. Like, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, he was just sticking tins on the hill with him, Hayden McLean, who is his roommate, and then Paddy McCartan, who obviously has stuck around the club since he retired. And it's just like, that's the kind of, I'm glad that they weren't on the big screen. There weren't people trying to take photos with them or anything. But it is just so nice knowing they have the support of the bigger, you get those big eyes on them, then people are going to be like, oh, well, if the people I respect like this sport, then maybe I should give it a go too.
Is it nice having likable players at your like I couldn't rattle off 5 people, you know what I mean? Anyway, sorry.
No, that's sort of like I understand you understand why opposition fans hate Tom Papley, but he also turns up to the dub games as well.
Yeah,
like every team has that. Like everyone has that player that you can understand. If you played for another team, I really wouldn't like you as well. Like if I had to watch Montana Ham crush through opponents every week, I'd get the shit with watching her too. I was like, how do you let Laura Gardner get the football every time? Oh my God, it's so annoying. But like, I think as well within the dub, and we haven't mentioned this earlier, obviously Chloe got the injury report, which we can talk about for this game. Chloe Malloy out for the rest of the season with back surgery. Everyone was devastated. There wasn't one, there was one salty Collingwood fan going, karma. But everyone else was like, this sucks. Oh my God, we just need her to be fit and healthy for a full season, which everyone just likes watching Chloe Malloy play football because we've seen what she's done. Like she would have broken the goal kicking records this year if she stayed fit. But I thought she'd been carrying something for a few weeks, and that was having surgery sort of kind of confirms it. And it's disappointing as a Swans fan, but the positive is Sophia Hurley's back as well, which is really good news because she has been so integral in those first 4 weeks. She was so integral, and we have missed her. And I think her coming back in is a really big boost for this game as well, because it maybe means Montana Ham plays a little bit more forward this weekend, which unfortunately for the undersized, understrength Bombers defensive line, that's not great because in the last few weeks, they've given up 60, 56, 71. The Demons game was a little bit different. 67, 54, 56. Like they're giving up scores at the moment, and they've only kicked 44 goals for the year. So if the Swans get their score game going, it's going to be a battle for Essendon. Essendon honestly need this one to be the game that we never mentioned from last year against the Western Bulldogs. They need it to be that game to be a chance of winning this, I think.
Yeah. Can I talk about Malloy for a second?
Of course.
I think that everyone adores her for being the fantastic player that she is, and she's so fun to watch, but also the way that she has embraced her role within the AFLW and been like, okay, there's a spotlight on me, and instead of being like, no, I don't want that, she's like, okay, cool, I'll use this to help grow the competition. She never says no to if I call her and ask for a quote or whatever. She's always very visible, and she really let us in on her ACL journey and rehab and just how hard that was. And she was so open, and even coming back, like I saw her, like she was putting on an Instagram story about how she was kind of nervous for her comeback game in round 1 against Richmond. against Richmond, because it's like, okay, well, you come back from an ACL and there's all this expectation on you and you don't know how you're going to go. And then she ended up kicking a lot of goals in that
Yeah,
game.
4.
4 goals.
All mad. And so I feel like
got mad that she missed one.
Yeah.
Like,
Because that's Chloe.
yeah. I feel like we have just like, she's allowed us to ride her journey so closely with her that it feels like any injury absolutely sucks, but knowing that she's going to be taken out and knowing just how much that means to her because she's been so vulnerable, we know that this would be killing her. It's just
peek behind the curtain. We obviously put up that story today of us looking devastated that she's been out, and she replied to it and she's like, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be out on the track for the rest of the season. We were like, girl, you don't have to apologize for getting injured. Obviously we want to watch you play, but obviously your health is more important. The thing that I'm most scared about is, and I think most people have forgotten this, very early in her career, she actually had a very bad back injury when she was still at the Pies, and she had to have surgery. I think she missed an entire season. It hasn't really been talked about at all, and I'm a little bit worried that this is a flare up of that previous injury. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just a coincidence that it's been a back thing again, but I just hope this isn't going to be bigger, just for her sake, because she loves playing footy so much, that it's not going to turn into this other massive thing. But, we want her back for next season. We want a full Chloe season, please.
Yes, we deserve it.
Yes.
She deserves it, and we also deserve it.
Yeah.
Exactly right. But
luckily, she's going to have the best of care from the Swans strength and conditioning and medical team, but also her choice of partner. Couldn't really have chosen a better partner when you're going through a medical issue as well. Like qualified nurse Jade Ellinger, like, oh my God, like who I interviewed Jade this time last year going, so let's talk about Chloe's ACL and how is that going? Is she up to date on the meds and do you have a full thing? And she gave this full rundown how basically she set everything up. And then I asked Chloe about it after, and she's like, she's the greatest person I know for doing all of this as well. Like it is.
I love them so much.
Yeah, it sucks, but it's also like, I can't wait to see like because they let you in. And I think that's the biggest thing with showing people on how to grow the game is that these players are letting you in. They're opening the curtain and going, hey, come have a peek. Like, I'm going to show you what's going on with my rehab and show you a little bit about me. Whereas in the men, it's very sort of vanilla and we don't see their personalities and get to know them and then actually just want to support and champion these people. And I think wanting to support a person and then getting on board with the team is probably the way to go. And I think there's so many positive role models in this competition. Like I've said it to Colin offline, I was like, as a Swans fan, I could not be prouder to have someone like you leading the club that I've grown up supporting. It makes me want you to succeed in everything you do, not just football, but in life. And I think having a leader like that is like just something, it's something to be proud of. I know it's football and it's dumb, but Jesus, like you couldn't have a better person to lead the club than Chloe, and also Luce as well, because she's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. But
footy, all right.
Footy,
yeah. Essendon, Marnie. I've done my nice thing. The Swans are going to kick the living shit out of Essendon. I really hope. And like, I need a really comfortable watch because I stress watched last Saturday. It was so bad. And then Polly, after the game, when she watched it on Sunday, was like, it wasn't that bad. I was like, trust me, it was hell.
Yeah,
so,
I was like, Alex, rewatch it because you feel much better after rewatching it. It was just in the moment, it was stressful.
So the biggest matchup on the day is probably, as an Essendon fan, Marnes, who do you think that Tanya Kennedy will give a bit of attention to? Is it Nansgorn? Is it Prasparkas? I know Matty Prasparkas' efficiency this year has been about 52, 53% with the footy. So it's like, go get the footy. We're half a chance of getting it back straight away. So as a Swans fan, as an Essendon fan, who do you not want Tanya Kennedy to go to?
Yeah, Nansgorn's, because Nansgorn's so in and under, and she just hunts it and then, starts the chain. If Nansgorn can't get her hands to it, then have fun kicking 85 goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I reckon G for sure. And you're right. Like Mads is really good, but this is not her at her best. This is not the best we've ever seen Maddie Prasparkas. Yeah.
Because going through it, like I think Steph Wales, her and Ali is going to be a really interesting match. I just think, because she's really tall and I see the footballer there where I'm like, okay, no, you're going to be a really good player, obviously, as the sister that plays for Hawthorn as well. But that's going to be an interesting matchup. And then you sort of look, if Bonnie plays at full forward, well, it's probably Alice Mitchell. And then Brenna's going to go to Soph Alexander, who's, I think she's leading the goal kicking this year.
It's just been so off it.
So that's that. So I think that's the interesting matchup. And having no Maddie Gay, also, I think just with the way Essendon match up, I think this is going to be a really good day for Zippy. Because in the last few weeks, Essendon have given up a lot of possessions to halfback flankers like Tilly Lucas-Rod and Ola O'Dwyer in the last 2 weeks have just racked up possessions for fun. So Zippy could have a big day on a massive deck as well. So this Coffs Harbour field is huge.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest.
Not to continuously do puns with a name, because I'm sure we're all getting very sick of that. But talking about like Essendon fitness and not being able to run out 4 quarters, like Zippy will be able to zip past like the Essendon players.
Yeah.
By the 4th quarter, she can run a mark.
Yeah, she's regularly played 95% of game time this year. Like, she's actively ignoring rotation requests at the moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
That's exactly what I was thinking about, Mons, when you said, like, players are requesting to come off the field. There is footage of Zippy being like, please do not let me stay on the field. Like, please stop.
The rising star on the line. Let me stay.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. No one is coming close to Zippy.
Yeah.
I agree, but do I have any faith in the way that awards are given out?
Yeah, so obviously the narrative at the moment is they're really pushing Poppy and Sophie from Carlton, but across the season, like you're more in the weeds than I am on this with everything. Like, I'm a Swans fan, so I'm obviously biased, but it has to be Zippy that wins the Rising Star. Like, who gets 34 disposals and is the second best player on the ground against North Melbourne? Like, none of them can do this. Like, I've enjoyed Poppy Schultz going forward. That's been fun. Sophie McKay, as I said, Carlton are downhill skiers. Against the Swans, I didn't see her get a touch of the football when they got belted. So Zippy's done it for 12 rounds.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Very much so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a great year for the Rising Star. Holy moly, we got some players.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would put...
poll?
I was going to quickly say, I don't know if you guys saw, but Fox Footy put out a predicted All-Australian versus Irish roster.
I got really angry at this. I
was like, why is Zippy not in this team? Chloe was the only...
How is Libby Birch not at fullback of the Australian team?
Yeah.
Wrote it.
Well, there was a lot of in there where I was like, have you guys watched a game?
That's the thing. It's like a lot of people, especially if... Yeah, sorry. I won't talk next.
But I was more just like, I think Zippy could potentially make All-Australian. I think she's that good.
Yeah.
She'll be in the squad. Like, and this team didn't have Laura Gardner in it either, and had like the half-forward line of Kate Hall, Indy Tahau, and Ella Roberts. Very scary. But
there was like definitely correct things in there, but there was some where I was like, you missed some players for sure.
I hope they do this though, because I don't know when you can do it, but it needs to be done, because it would be the greatest game of the season. And just played at Marvel, deck like a deck with no wind, 18v18. Let them go, because it'll be the most fun game you could see.
When does the preseason start for W? How is it? 12 weeks? It's not 12 weeks.
Like May
before.
Or something.
Because I'm like, do it during the men's buy rounds is what I was trying to say.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
Because it's like right at the start of preseason, so people are sort of starting to come back into fitness. Some of them play, throughout the year anyway, and then there aren't as many men's games on, so you could get into Marvel.
Your biggest problem? Gaelic season.
Oh, yeah, fair. Okay.
So your best chance is probably doing it after the grand final, but by then there's a cricket pitch at Marvel.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Or the other option would be to do it the same weekend as the men's State of Origin, as in the one.
In February.
Yeah, because you could do that in Perth and then the W game in Melbourne and do like a big weekend of it, of exhibition games.
For it.
But I tell you, what team won't have any players from Essendon? Like, how do I segue back?
I was going to say, it's not Gold Coast because they've got McLaughlin, so they'll have a player at least.
Yeah, and by a year's time, Havana Harris could find a way into that team.
Yeah.
So good at football. Oh, my God.
I think, I was going to say, I think this game could be it's probably going to blow out, but I think there's going to be competitive patches, and I think that's nice
Yeah.
going into a game. I don't love North's dominance because I don't like a blowout. So, and people got mad at me for saying that, and I was like, that's just my opinion. It's
Oh
like
my
I didn't
God,
like the
yeah.
Max Verstappen years because I don't like blowouts. Like, sorry, like that's just my opinion on sport.
My article was quoting other people, but when I tweeted it, I said, it's my opinion that I
Yeah.
enjoy the North being that good. And people were being like, wrong. It's like, well, no, you can't tell me that my very subjective opinion about what I find
Yeah.
enjoyable or not.
It's like I wrote this
Wrong.
whole like a very long thread about it, and it's like that's what you're nitpicking, the fact I don't like blowouts.
Yeah, mad. But I will say, I think that given the importance of percentage in final standings, we can we can cheer for the percentage kind of
Yeah.
thing rather than the win. If
Yeah.
it gets to the stage of being a blowout, there is that element which
Yes.
can.
I mean, look, the bigger the win, the better for us. I just can
The-
also see, like, having played you guys, I think twice now,
Yeah.
I know we can be competitive with you guys. I think the last two times we've played you, it's been like less than a goal margin.
3 points and 4 points.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Last year's
obviously the
game was
teams are
so
very, very different
frustrating.
since then. The one that stuck in my brain is when they gave the goal wrong, where they said it hit the post, but actually just bounced off the netting,
Oh, I remember
and
that.
we should have won.
I do remember that. Yes.
But most of the girls who played in that team are no longer in the team, so
Look, that makes up for Dane Rampy climbing the post. It's fine.
Why did he do that?
because it's Dane Rampy.
Exactly. So
Truly the himbo.
Who is your invite to the party in this game, Marnes? And Essendon by how far or by how close?
Can you just explain what invite to the party means?
So
Who are you expecting?
who are you calling out to have a big game on the weekend? Like maybe it's someone who's played poorly the week before, or like last week I said a couple of weeks ago I said Ali Morford had a shocker, and then she was my invite to the party to bounce back, kind of thing, and maybe have a guess at the stat line, kind of thing.
I can go first if you want to have a think.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say I wonder whose milestone it is, but even so, milestones don't seem.
There's no milestones in this game. I had a look at this earlier.
I would love Georgia G to have a really good game. I think that she's stepped up, particularly last week against Hawthorn. She had a particularly good run, and she's very exciting to watch. That I don't think, I feel like she definitely flies under the radar, but also that is probably to do with her own performance being like good, but not fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think to just give Essendon a big shot of optimism
Momentum,
going into next year. I see a forward do well.
Basically on track for career highs in everything this year.
Yeah. So I'll go Georgia G. Oh, and then margin?
Yeah.
Swannies by 45.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Alex,
it's
I like
also
it.
like Essendon have lost the last 8, and it's not like they're going to be like, let's finish. Well, the message will be let's finish on a high, but I know that
it's not. What's being said and actually achievable are two different things.
Yeah, Marnes has been Essendon fired throughout the season. Yeah, what is it? The last couple of weeks, 56, 50, what is it? 57, 38, 30 in the last few weeks, and then the 14-1 against the D's. Swannies by 22, and my invite to the party. Let's go Zippy 30 plus and a goal. Let's just
Very
go that,
nice.
just to round off the rising star year. And Alice Mitchell shuts out Bonnie Toogood if she plays forward.
And then she's getting into the All-Australian team. That's
Look, as I said, I know a selector and someone on the selection panel is dead against Alice Mitchell, so not great.
wrong. They're just wrong. I'm
They
going
don't watch us.
Swannies by 35, and my girl Sophia Hurley is going to make a return and show us exactly why she needs to be in this team. And we missed her very, very dearly.
Yes.
Should we do some tipping quickly?
Oh yeah, tipping. Yes, let's do this because I've still got my ladder up here. Okay.
Okay, Alex, quickly run through your ladder predictor.
It's going flat. I'm just going to move myself.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, that's okay. So we could also hear about the live ladder. But Friday night at Kinetic Stadium, Hawthorn host North Melbourne. This game should have been moved to Icon Park. I'm disappointed that it isn't.
Oh, that's weird.
This is the game where North Melbourne just put the foot down and they absolutely just belt Hawthorn into the ground.
I think they're going to win by 70 plus points.
If they win by 70 points, Hawthorn's percentage will be below 100.
Good. It should be.
Friday night, the most important game at Sullivan Logistics Stadium at 9:15 p.m. I'll be watching this. West Coast host Carlton. Now, Carlton, 5-day backup after playing in the rain. West Coast expected to get back Ella Roberts, Jeff Wrench. Haven't got that email yet. Is it popped in? No, hasn't popped into my emails yet if the tribunal's been upheld or not. We want Carlton to win this, but I am tipping West Coast.
Yeah, look, I think West Coast are going to win, but I'm going to tip Carlton just to manifest. I'm just trying to manifest.
This is one of the main games for the 8. Who are you tipping, Marnes?
I think you're on a lot of good ground by tipping West Coast, but I'm going to tip Carlton by like 7. I want it to be super
It's going to,
close.
yeah.
All right, Carlton by 10 points.
The closer
Carlton-
it is, the better as well, because that's going to ruin someone's perception.
Yeah,
Actually,
if
no, it would be better if it's a blowout. Like, I don't know.
No, you just want Carlton to win. But if Carlton win by 10 points, they'll more than likely finish 5th and host a final. Saturday, Henson Park. How far to Port beat the Giants by? 70.
If not more.
I'll
How many
go
goals does
8 points.
How many goals does Indy kick and how many goals does Gemma kick? I'm going to go 6 and 4.
I think Gemma's going to be the one to actually get to 100 first. So she's going to kick 4 or 3. I think
she's first up, so she gets the chance to.
Yeah.
Like, surely the game plan, like, doesn't matter if it's feed Gemma to get 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really matter. Like, it's very, very hard for them to make finals. So just try and get her to get the record.
Yeah. I can't remember the year, but there was a year that Ben Brown was leading the Coleman, and then GWS were out of the race for the finals. So their last game, they're like, we're getting Jeremy the Coleman. And so Jeremy ended up taking off Ben Brown.
Oh, no. And we love Ben Brown, and we love
Ben
his
Brown.
wife, Hester. Shout out to Hester. Spoon Bowl, Icon Park, Richmond will defeat Gold Coast. I won't watch this. I'm sorry.
It's not watchable.
Well done, Richmond. You're going to win 4 games. Your season has been bad.
Yeah, I don't think anyone predicted that. That's probably the biggest shock of the season is how bad Richmond's been.
I said they'd slide at the start of the year, but didn't think it'd be that bad.
No.
Swannies at 5:05. That's really good. Into 7:15 at Goomba, Geelong, after playing in the, I don't know what that was at Mars Stadium on the weekend.
It was raining cats and dogs.
It was the Quagmire. They take on the D's, and I reckon the D's will win that by about 5 goals.
Yeah, that's solid. I'll give D's by 4 goals.
I could see Geelong trying to pull something out just because they've had such a bad season, but I think Melbourne are just too good.
And also just such sore bodies from after playing this one.
Yeah. Brisbane take on Collingwood at Victoria Park on Sunday. Brisbane 40+. I think Collingwood, they had their good run. I think now they've run out of puff. Like
they're tired.
They won last week, but I think they've run out of puff.
They played Gold Coast. Like, that doesn't count.
Wow. Moorabbin, St Kilda and the Dogs. Interesting game. If the Dogs had won last week, that would have been a chance to make the finals. I think St Kilda will find a way to get the win here.
I'm going to go the Dogs because I need the extra, I need to do some, upsets for my tipping. But I do think they have a share, and I think St Kilda aren't as good as people think, is my opinion from watching them play against Collingwood. That game was awful.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Okay. And then finally, I can't wait to watch this. Adelaide take on Fremantle at Norwood. Now, Adelaide should be begging the AFL to move this game to Unley because they are unbeaten this season at Unley Oval. They have lost thrice at Norwood Oval.
They must have the cricket pitch in at this point. If they're playing there twice, is my guess.
I'm going to tip the Dockers.
So am I.
Oh my, yeah.
I don't think Adelaide have shown me much this year. They've just been a bit lucky at points. They lost to Richmond.
I do contend I will change this tip depending on the Friday night result because if Carlton and Sydney both win, no, they can still make it because they can knock out Adelaide. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. No, don't worry. Take it back, Freo. Tipping Freo.
Yeah. I just I think Freo have shown a lot this season, or in patches, but so have Adelaide, and I just think Freo want it more, and I think Adelaide have gotten a bit complacent.
Yeah. So that leaves me with my ladder. North Melbourne first, Melbourne second, Brisbane, Hawthorn, St Kilda, West Coast. Now, this also depend on how far the Swans beat Essendon buys. I've got West Coast winning by 10 points. I've got Swans winning by 40 at the moment. But if the Swans win by 80, well, 60, they can jump West Coast. Yeah,
So the
Sydney
best you
in
think
at
we can
7th.
finish is 7th. Okay.
Oh, no. I found a way to get us to 5th.
Yeah, no, I've seen people saying we can finish 5th, which would be insane. And honestly, AFL, just try and like we need to, as a collective unit, we should do it for the plot because a final at Henson Park would be unbelievable.
So Swans finishing 5th is if they smash, if West Coast beat Carlton, Swans belt Essendon, and the Dogs beat St Kilda.
These are things that are possible.
Exactly. So anyway, that means the first week of finals in that sense will be the Swans playing West Coast in Perth. Basically, if you go that way to the prelim, you play North in a prelim. The Swans, you want to finish 5th or 8th because you'll avoid North till the grand final if you make it.
I guess I'm flying to Perth.
Yay!
I'd much rather go to Melbourne just because the difference and how much more expensive it is to fly to Perth.
I need the game to be in Melbourne because I can't go otherwise. It's a busy week. It's a busy week, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can't record on Tuesday next week. I'm in Sydney for the day. I need to do it next.
I mean, if we can find a place to do it in person.
If you could be somewhere at 5:30 that's not the airport next Tuesday, I'll be there. I might be drunk, but I'll be there.
Hey, hopefully we're talking about a smashing, so you being smashed for that would not be the worst case scenario.
It's a big day. It's a big day.
Mans, thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. We hope it's a good game on the weekend and you enjoy it nonetheless.
Well, I will. You know I love this one. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
I will see you at finals for hot chips is what I'll do.
Yeah, hopefully this one's play a final in Melbourne so we actually get to cross off the middle square and Alex has been go-kart and get a photo together this season.
True.
Yeah. But this has been True Bloods, the #1 independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. We're #1 in the hearts, we're #1 on the charts. We're speaking words of wisdom. Up the potty.